YouTube, how's it going? The Goat House is back. Heading into Conference Championship week in the NFL. We got the AFC and NFC Championship games. I'm here to give you not only my score predictions, but we're going to get the other guys of the Goat House, their score predictions in this video, talk about those. First, we're going to go over basic keys to winning the game for each team, since we only got 4 teams left. Do the same thing for the Super Bowl next week, even though we got to wait an extra week for the Super Bowl. We got you covered here. Playoff coverage. We already got started on our offseason coverage, free agency, NFL draft. We got you. So please subscribe, smash that like button, and follow our Twitter. Link in the description in the comments for anything that you need, including that Twitter sided app where you can win Amazon gift cards by talking football. Check it out. I did mention that Twitter just now, at Goathouse NFL. Link down below. Check it out. Always talking football. You guys are picking these games. You get the fans vote in the weekly pick'ems through Twitter. A lot of polls. You guys will basically create a mock draft to a fan-voted mock draft in the offseason. So check it out. Let's talk about basic keys to the game here. Starting with the NFC Championship game for the Buccaneers. Looks like we'll have to get rid of me for a second, but that's all right. The Buccaneers need to establish the run early. You can run on the Packers pretty effectively. We saw the Rams actually do that, but they pretty much took themselves out of that game where they could run the ball even more, so that made it even harder. Packers have gotten better stopping the run because they used to be an absolute disaster. It seems like their inside linebackers are playing a little better than they were in the past. But if the Buccaneers can come out and just establish that run game, which they're going to do, they're going to go out and do that. You know, they're going to try to do that, I should say. Ronald Jones, Leonard Fournette, get those guys going. Get them going in the passing game as well. But make sure you establish that run. And you're kind of going into that, run the clock, control the time possession. There's random times throughout the season where even sometimes they've won. You know, the Packers kind of, maybe took a little bit time to get going, whether it was the beginning of the game, like the middle of the game, so some random games. So if they can establish the run and run the clock, that could really throw them off a bit. So that'll be ideal. The Buccaneers, Tom Brady still can throw. He's still got that downfield ball, that arm strength, that touch. But, it's not a team that's going to throw the ball 40 times a game. It's not ideal. So have that good mixture. And for that to happen, you need to establish the run. Don't allow the Packers to establish the run. The Buccaneers have a top-notch run defense. Kamara was able to get going a little bit, but they got a top-notch run defense. And if the Packers get going early with the run and they're actually be able to, to have success, they're actually, able to have success and establish that, the Buccaneers are pretty much screwed, pretty much at that point. Like, it's going to look like the Packers are going to win the game right off the bat if the Packers are able to be effective running them, because that's just going to open up the pass, and they don't really need the run to open up the pass because they have Aaron Rodgers, Devontae Adams, and company. So if they establish the run, the Buccaneers are going to be thinking run and pass. They're going to be all over the place. They're going to be on their toes. It's going to be that much harder to play defense, and it's going to be the Packers are going to become that much more unpredictable, I guess. What the Buccaneers want to do is force obvious passing situations. It's pretty much any team wants to do in any game ever, but it's very important in a game like this because let's say it's first down, the Packers run the ball, you stop that run, don't let them establish it. It's 2nd and 10, they're passing. And what did the Buccaneers do very well? They blitz very well, and that's really how they beat the Packers the first time around. So they want to create those obvious passing situations, 2nd and long, 3rd and long, so they just don't have to worry about the run at all. We can pass blitz, and we can, obviously cover. And they're pretty good rushing from the edge as well. So they can just go all out blitz and, not every single play. And they're not going to dominate every time they blitz. So I don't expect that. But that'll be ideal. That's what happened the first time they played them, where they dominated them. The X factors in this game for me are the 2 running backs, Ronald Jones and Leonard Fournette. Again, establish the run game. You can run on the Packers. These guys can eat the clock and basically win the game for them. But factors in the run game, but also in the in the passing game as well. You see Leonard Fournette get involved in that more and more recently. Fournette kind of feeds off Ronald Jones, I think, a little bit. He doesn't need him to be good, but he's better when, they're unpredictable and they're splitting a bit. So I think Ronald Jones is overall better. And Chris Godwin is a big-time X factor, and that is because I still have this RizCam thing up in the way probably. Am I in the way? I'm in the way a little bit. That's because he's playing in the slot. Chris Godwin plays in the slot a lot. That's where he dominates. That's where he dominated all year last year when he does well. That's where he plays. That's where he's at. So I think The Packers are pretty good at shutting receivers down outside. They're not good at, the small ball and then the good receivers after the catch. And I think that's where Chris Godwin comes into play. He hasn't really been, Washington game in the playoff and Saints game in the playoff. Hasn't really played that well. I think this is that game where he needs to play well, and this is where he really could turn it around because the Packers are good in the pass game defensively, but this is someone that's kind of their weakness here. Defense, remember we talked about the blitz beat the Packers the first time. The blitzers are Levante David and Devin White, the inside linebackers. Devin White's getting better and better at a monster game last week. Levante David more that captain of that group. So those are the guys to watch out for. Establish the run. And successfully blitz, I think the Buccaneers win. If they come out and they dominate that run game, they start with the ball specifically, they get the run game going, and they're able to have those successful, obvious passing situations in blitz, I think they win the game. Now let's talk about the Packers real quick, and keys to beating the Buccaneers. Establish the pass early, and the reason I put the run with a bunch of question marks is because most teams want to establish the run early, and if the Packers if the Packers come out and I talked about what the Buccaneers want. If the Packers come out and do go to establish the run, and they do so, and they're effective running the ball against the stout run defense of the Buccaneers, and they do that, that they're going to win the game, I think. So they could do that. They could come out and they can try to do that. I think it's easier said than done. I think it's a little risky. If you come out, and you run the ball and it doesn't work because that Buccaneers run defense is good, but the Packers run offense is good too, so they could do it. But if they fail and they kind of take their own passing game away, which maybe they're the best in football in terms of the passing game, and they give the Buccaneers the ball or they give them those obvious passing situations by running the ball not effectively, it could really backfire and you basically could hand the Buccaneers the win. So if they could establish the run early, you're probably going to win the game, but it's a major risk. I think they should come out and just, don't risk that, but also do something that's, pretty simple for them. Just pass the ball early. But again, in the obvious pass situations, the Packers or the Buccaneers are going to blitz. They're going to get after Rodgers like they did last time. I think they go to the quick passing game because they're very good at, Rodgers taking those one-step drops almost and firing the ball out, quick outs, quick slants, whatever it is. I think they should do that early because the Buccaneers corners play a lot of soft coverage. If you do that early, make them come up, and then you can take your deep shots, make them back off, and then you can run the ball. So that's kind of the order I want them to go in. I want them to come out passing quick, those quick 1-2 step drops and throw, make them play up. Then they're very good. Rodgers is very good, and and the receivers are going downfield. So then that's where you get your free shots almost downfield, and that'll all open up the run game and make the run game easier while you can run clock and just open everything up. Then at that point, don't allow the Buccaneers to. Another offensive one below that, avoid obvious pass situations. You don't want to create those second and longs, third and longs. That's what happened last time the Buccaneers blitz and were very effective. If you create those situations where the whole entire planet knows that you're passing, it's going to become harder. Even if you got Aaron Rodgers that can successfully overcome that still, it's just going to become harder. Don't allow the Buccaneers to establish the run early. The Buccaneers, we talked about, the Buccaneers are going to feed off that run. They want to run the ball to win the game. So if you stop that, you're looking pretty good. Pick up the damn blitz because last time they just could not pick it up. You look at the X factor. Jamal Williams is one of them. That's kind of the reason. I think Jamal Williams is a pretty good run blocking running back. Pass blocking, pass protection running back. So I think he can help pick up the blitz. If you can get him going, running the ball as well, because if you get him going, I know Aaron Jones is their best back, but if you get him going, then that's going to make the team, the Buccaneers think, okay, he's not just in for pass protection. This is it's not a predictable pass. He's been effective on the ground. So then it kind of gets in the Buccaneers' head. So Jamal Williams is a big X factor, and that kind of, they got to pick up the blitz. They got to figure out, they got to do better than last time. Bakhtiari out. So, but I think it's more the interior and the running backs help with picking up the blitz. So we'll see how that goes. Devontae Adams, of course, playing in the slot, playing outside. Kind of can, make multiple different corners. And the Buccaneers corners are pretty solid. They're better than people give them credit for. Kind of, make them switch it up a little bit and, just play his game, really. Defense, Kenny Clark starting to get back on his game, stopping the run at a very high level and get some interior pressure. That'll be key, mainly stopping the run because the Buccaneers want to run the ball to win the game, mainly run the ball to open up the pass. So Kenny Clark will be huge. Chandon Sullivan, kind of an under-the-radar X factor here because he's mainly their slot corner. corner there, and I think Godwin could be an X factor. I think he can be effective from the slot for the Buccaneers. So Chandon Sullivan has a big time game here, needs a big time game. They avoid and long situations, so the second and long, third and long, and stop the run. The Packers win. That's what's going to happen there. Let's take a look at some before my score predictions. Let's take a look at the here I am. I'm back. All Packers for the other guys. We'll see my score prediction in a second, but Pigskin's got 31-24. It's looking like the Packers are going to score 31 points looking at this, at least 31 points. 31 points from Pigskin Jr. and Old Yeller. So you got a 31-24, you got a 31-28, you got a 31-27. So all in the ballpark, all with 31. Danny also has a 27, but he has the Packers scoring 34. So they're all feeling Packers. They just think they're, the best team right now, and they're just going to be, just outplay the Buccaneers, in the second time around. Last time it didn't work out too well. In Lambeau, too, so that definitely helps in the cold. Brady can play in the cold. How will the other teams of the Buccaneers be able to play? For me, I'm really not that confident about this game. No matter who I'm picking, it'd be the same thing either way. I'm actually lone wolf here. I'm actually going with the Buccaneers. Little lower than the other guys had in terms of scoring. I think the Buccaneers want to run the clock, so I think that'll help with a little less scoring here. Here's the thing, though. You looked at all my keys to the game, and I think the Packers have less that they have to accomplish to be able to win, so you could say they have an easier shot because, again, they could establish the run or the pass early, either one, not both, and still win the game. They could just avoid the and long situations and win the game. If they slow down the Buccaneers' run game, they win the game. So there's only a couple things that need to happen, compared to the Buccaneers. But a lot of the things that the Buccaneers need to happen, I think the matchup points towards them. They're just very good at blitzing. There's a few teams that can get after Rodgers. I think they'll still be effective at that. I think they can slow down the Packers' run, not stop it. Just force those obvious situations. And I think the Buccaneers will have success running in small ball passing with their running backs, Ronald Jones and Leonard Fournette. And again, I have a feeling this is the game where Chris Godwin really comes alive, that Chris Godwin that we know, and he could be a factor. So, for me, more things point towards the Bucs. It kind of has that 49ers feel for last year for the Packers. For some reason, that was the only team that they just could not protect Rodgers with. They couldn't really do it. So maybe this is the team. Maybe it's not. Who knows? But yeah, it being in Lambeau, I guess, makes it more interesting. But again, it's a 50-50 game for me. I can debate both sides. The Buccaneers are my preseason prediction to go to the Super Bowl. So maybe I'm kind of just feeling that. It almost feels like it's meant to happen at this point. But I did predict the Packers to go as soon as the playoffs started. So either way here. But yeah, the Buccaneers need specifics to happen. But I think they'll kind of be on their game there, but not that the Packers won't. But yeah, I think they're going to control the clock as well, which creates kind of less scoring than you would expect. But we'll see. We can move on to the AFC Championship game, which is a later game. Talk about the Bills' keys to the game here, keys to beating the Chiefs. Establish really not specifically Beasley and Brown, but Gabriel Davis, Dawson Knox, Singletary even. Establish these guys early because I'm confident that the Chiefs are going to be focused on Diggs. They're probably going to bracket him, kind of double him early on. And I think if you come out and just don't try to force it to Diggs, or if he's open, you throw the ball. But, get these guys going so that you let the Chiefs know these guys are a threat. You got to worry about these guys, and that can open things up for your best playmaker, Stephon Diggs, and keep the Chiefs on their toes. So I think that'll be pretty key there. More designed Josh Allen runs. You want to make the Chiefs try to spy him to open things up in the pass game. I think he can be highly effective running the ball as well. And that kind of goes into get creative. I don't want them to get too, wild. I don't need like trick plays. And they have run some and they've worked, but we've seen in the past, Allen running options, whether it's, actual options, speed options, read options specifically. I like, open. The playbook is pretty open, so open it up. So that's what I mean by that. You want to Chiefs defensively, they're pretty good at game planning. So just get it as open as you can. Don't press Travis Kelce. All these teams seem to be pressing Travis Kelce, and it never works out. So don't, I think Taron Johnson will be on him at times, maybe a safety. Don't press him. They're going to try to feed him. We know that, mainly in the middle of the field. So It's tough to say what they exactly can do. It's just a guy that you just can't really stop. You just got to try to find a way to slow down. And and Tyreek Hill, keep somebody over top of him if you can at times. But I do want more cover 3. Typically in cover 3, I mean, obviously you have a corner has a third, safety has a third, corner has a third. And teams typically take the other safety and put them up a little bit. But you could, if you can find a way to have an extra guy over the top as well. I don't really want cover 4 where they're all split up kind of too much. But in the past, Mahomes, I don't want to say struggles, but tends to not play as well against cover 3. So that's kind of why I go there. Tyreek Hill is pretty good. He's kind of the way out of the beating the cover 3, though. Tyreek Hill, with his speed and his ability to go from one zone to the next in a second. So that's kind of the tough part about that. Tyreek Hill kind of loves going against cover 3, but Mahomes, he almost should become a one-read guy to Tyreek Hill when teams run cover 3, but mix it up. You don't want to go one thing. I think you establish the cover 3 and make them try to adjust to that because that's what they have to adjust to. And then you can kind of mix it up a little bit, but don't blitz. You don't blitz Mahomes. You just don't do it. X factors, for the other games, and most of the time I want to go with somewhat of under the radar guy, but it's just plain and simple. It's Josh Allen. If Josh Allen's on his game, throwing the ball downfield, like I said, Diggs is going to be bracketed a bit. If he can fit it in the tight windows, but him running the ball as well, he's just all around the X factor. If Josh Allen is on his elite game, they got a pretty damn good shot, like his full game. And defensively, I think it's the safeties, Micah Hyde, Jordan Poyer. These guys, when they make big-time plays, good things happen, obviously. But, just the Chiefs, they want to push the ball downfield. They want to push to the middle of the field with Travis Kelce. I think these guys just over the top, controlling that middle of the field plus deep downfield are just the key guys here. So going with the safeties, and then just start strong. There's some games where they start a little slow. The Ravens game, the Colts game kind of. Even games they won down the stretch of the season, like the Steelers game, and there's some games where they just start off super hot right away. So they need to start strong. If they have one of those slow starts, they're just not going to win. In my opinion, unless Mahomes is not playing. So they have to start. They have to start strong and keep that lead. Make the Chiefs play keep up. Somebody's going to be playing keep up in this game. Don't let it be you. And again, run Allen. I think if you run Allen properly, get some more options in there. That's going to be key. So those things together, I think they win. And then going to the Chiefs. The Chiefs are just kind of weird for the keys. It's just more of just play your game, honestly. But offensively, specifically, establish Tyreek Hill early. Sometimes it takes a little bit to get Tyreek Hill going, and then when he's going, he's going. But I think if you get him going early, and really make the Bills, play off even further because his speed and his abilities, his playmaking abilities, I think that can really open up everything else. They don't necessarily need that to open up everything else out, but that's kind of the A+ scenario. And just let Travis Kelce dominate the middle of the field. I mean, he could dominate wherever he wants, but I think specifically over the middle of the field, I think he can absolutely dominate. The Bills have struggled against some pretty good tight ends this year, and I think Kelce could just be an absolute terror in the middle of the field there. Get Clyde Edwards-Helaire going outside. Get him going in general, but I think if you get him outside, it's just going to spread the field out so much and make the Bills stay on their toes. And last time they played, the Bills really struggled with Clyde Edwards-Helaire, and they could already be on their toes about him going in the game because of that. That's a positive for the Chiefs. But if you get him going, kind of establish that at some point, doesn't necessarily have to be right out the gate. I think it's just going to spread options out even more and just keep the Bills on their toes. Don't get cute with the play calling because during the regular, I'm not really worried about it, but during the regular season, they kind of went with these weird plays and just didn't play their own game, and it didn't really hurt them that much because they can overcome it. They're so good, but just don't outsmart yourself. Don't be thinking, maybe we should try this, maybe we should try that. Just play your damn game. You got to bracket Diggs. I think that's a big difference with the Chiefs and the Bills. The difference between Diggs and the rest, I think, is a pretty good gap, even though the Bills have a lot of other good playmakers still. But you got Kelce and Hill. We could debate on which one's better, and that's kind of the good thing here. So if you kind of take away Diggs, easier said than done, but if you kind of take him away, just make the other guys beat you. And then containing Allen here would be key, because in the run game and the pass, it kind of goes into both, because when he leaks outside, he throws very well on the run. You want to keep him inside. You want to keep him inside so Chris Jones maybe can have a day on him, and then just so he can't escape and run or throw on the run, obviously. Offensively, we kind of talked about Travis Kelce. The Bills struggle against tight ends, so if you just get him going, like you normally do, that'll be obviously great. Edwards-Helaire, we talked about. He played very well against the Bills last time. There's so much to his game. It's just going to open up everything else downfield if you get him going. So keep the Bills on their toes with him. Defensively, Frank Clark, I'm kind of waiting for him to wake up, but I don't think he needs to have a big sack game to have a great game in this one. I think just get outside, make his presence, known, felt by Allen, and kind of keep him inside so Chris Jones can go to work. So Frank Clark is going to make Chris Jones in this scenario maybe more of an X factor. And Tyrann Mathieu, because he plays all over the field. If he's up in the in the body, if he's blitzing, that could be a factor. You don't really typically want to blitz Allen, but I think if you can get unique with it here and there. But yeah, and then him kind of keep an eye if Allen does get loose outside. Matthew's usually pretty good at stepping up on plays like that. Offensively, just go out and play your game. Like we said, the keys are things that they do on a regular basis. So just play your game. Keep that lead. Make them play keep up like you normally do, and keep Allen contained. I think the Chiefs will win then. Going to the boys' score predictions, a lot of Bills here. But Pigskin, the Chiefs fans might be happy with him with this page. 34-31. There I am again. 34-31. Chiefs for Pigskin. 38-31. A high-scoring game for a lot of these guys here. Danny got 38-31, though. Junior, a little low-scoring, 27-24. Yeah, that's kind of low-scoring for this game, I suppose. 27-24. Old Yeller is also feeling a shootout, and the Bills winning 34-30. So 3 out of the 4 guys going Bills. I'm on board with Pigskin here. I got a 34-27, so I got a 7-point win for the Chiefs. I love the Bills all year. It's a likable team. I like the Bills. Huge Stephon Diggs guy, huge Josh Allen guy. I like a lot of their pieces on their defense. I believe in them all year. It's a good team, but if the Chiefs are 100% healthy, if Mahomes is 100% healthy, the Chiefs are going to win the game. That's just how I feel. I'm pretty confident about it. If he doesn't play, I'm picking the Bills. If he plays and maybe he's not 100%, we'll learn that, I guess, throughout the game. And I think that'll be the reason why they lost, or if they outsmart themselves, get too fancy. But I don't see them doing it. I think that was kind of a trial thing in the regular season. It's just, if both these teams play their best game, they're just their elite game, the Chiefs are going to win. So that the Bills need to play, I think, their top-notch game, and they need to throw the Chiefs off their game somehow. So I think that's what needs to happen. When I talked about the keys, the Chiefs just go out there and play your game. They have the Bills are playmakers. They have explosive offense. The Chiefs just have more of that. They have that and some. And I think a big one, I talked about it, the 2 X factors on offense for the Chiefs. Travis Kelce, the Bills struggle with those types of tight ends. I think he can dominate, and that's kind of a regular basis type of thing for him. But Edwards-Helaire is a big one here because the Bills might be he already might be in their head because the last time they played, Edwards-Helaire went off. So they might be, we got to stop this passing, this deep ball pass game, the quick ball pass game, the speed. But Edwards-Helaire ate us up last time. He beat us up, and we got to be worried about him. And so, the Chiefs, I think, without even going into the game, I think already spread the field out more. Another thing is the Bills, the way they match up, the Chiefs aren't too good stopping the run, but the Bills aren't too effective running the ball. They can be. If they get Singletary going, that'd be great. I don't know if that's a key to the game, though, because do you want to take away from Josh Allen's game? That's their game, So the Chiefs, like I said, going into the game, Chiefs kind of spread the field out already for the Bills defense, and the opposite, not as much, not as much. So I think the Chiefs just match up well, and they just got that as extra playmakers. I just hope everyone's healthy in this game so we get an entertaining game and the right winner here. So we'll see what happens there. But I'm excited about both games. I think the other game's more of a 50-50 game. This game can become one. They're both, I can see any outcome. I can see anybody in the Super Bowl here. I can see a lot of people out there picking Bills-Packers. I got Chiefs-Bucs. I predicted in the beginning of the playoffs, Chiefs-Packers. Nobody's really saying Bills-Bucs. For some reason, that's the one that nobody's really saying, but it could happen. Do the Bucs make are they the first team to make their own Super Bowl, home Super Bowl? That'd be crazy. So yeah, a lot going on here. We'll have you covered fully for these games on Twitter, with constant talk during the games, what's going on, breaking news, off-season stuff on the Twitter at all times. We have off-season coverage already on the channel as well, and a lot more to come. We got more NFL content than anybody out there, so you're going to want to subscribe. You're going to want to turn notifications on so you don't miss any of it. And please smash that like button. Be much appreciated. That's going to do it for this one, though. Thanks, everyone, for watching. Goodbye.